Hello, and welcome back to the 405 Freeway Podcast. This is the podcast talking all things 405 Freeway, the process of construction, the process of road smoothing. We're talking also about land developments surrounding the 405, and we're also talking about the possibilities of the 405. Where can it go? Have we seen the end of the 405? Will it become the bloodline of America? Will it be the jugular of the American auto industry? I believe that in 50 years, every freeway will be replaced by the 405. Every street in every small town will be obsolete, as the 405 will run wherever you need to go. Everyone will live next to the 405. If you need food, you will eat it at a restaurant off the 405. Anything you need to do will be found off of the 405. The 101, Route 66, the 5, the 10, the I-10, all of it. All of it's going to be gone. The 405 is going to suck it up like a black hole, okay? And similar to Alex Jones, a lot of these views get me in trouble. A lot of people don't like hearing it. A lot of people don't like talking about it. But it's the fact of the matter. You know, what you see is what you get. When you tune in here, you get real shit, and it's not filtered, okay? So if you came for a podcast without pulp, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to do some flossing after this, okay? I'm not afraid to talk about the 405. I'm not afraid to talk about how long it's going to be. Anyway, that's a little opening bitch, a little absurdism, just to sort of just let you know what you're in for, okay? Just to let you know you didn't come to your grandma's podcast, okay? This isn't the Golden Girls hour, okay? This is the Silver Man hour. Once again, doing the podcast from the new apartment. Don't have a steamer to make the background curtains look good. Don't want to put up a bunch of wrinkled, folded curtains behind me. Also have a box of shit, pictures and stuff I haven't hung up. So yeah, once again, the podcast with the most dreary background in the world. If you are sitting in an office listening to this, don't look at the screen. It is going to remind you of where you're currently sitting, and it's going to bum you out. You know what I mean? So yeah, but boy, do I love my new place. I said it on the last one, but really nothing like coming home to a house that nobody is in. It is amazing. I mean, just, man, I can really get bogged down by having people fuck with my shit. And roommates, all they are people that fuck with your shit. That's why it's tough to live with people that are your friends, you know? Because sooner or later, your friend's going to be cooking, your friend's going to be using the shower when you want to do that. And now they're not your friend. Now they're the bane of your existence. Now they are everything that is wrong with the world. So I'm glad to be out of there. My mom came over yesterday because she wanted to see the apartment since it's pretty much furnished and everything. Came over, opened up my closet, immediately touched a towel that had cum on it, just within seconds. It was, and I called my girlfriend. She's like, Cooper, and it's like, listen, and she agreed with me, but it's like, listen, this is my own apartment in my own closet. There is a rag in there that for a few days has cum on it, and then it gets washed. I'm sorry, okay? She came into this apartment, decided to open everything up and touch everything. If you go into a 24-year-old boy's apartment and you decide to just touch any cloth you see, something's going to have dried cum on it. That's what she had, and I just had to look at her do it. So I'm sitting here in a studio apartment with my mom and my aunt. She's folding a rag with cum on it. Just folding a cum rag for no reason, just mixing it with other towels I have in there that were separated for a reason, just mixing it all in. And honestly, it's like being a mother of two boys for, now a total of 30 years. It's like, if you see a rag that is separated and seems to be put in a specific yet nonchalant place in a boy's room, why would you touch it? What else would it be? You think that just for some reason, because I got a fucking I got a bunch of little cubbies, and one of the little cubbies I put a bunch of rags, but on top of all the cubbies, on like the top of the shelf, I put the cum rag. And it sits there. I don't like having a cum rag, okay? I don't like that. It makes me feel gross, makes me feel yucky, and that's why it sits in the closet where my shame cannot find it, okay? But who can find it is your fucking nosy ass mom who decides to just walk in and start touching shit. And, you know, that's what you get when you do that though. Is she got, you get what you asked for. You go in, you just start deciding to just clean up a half-grown man's apartment. You're going to touch cum. I don't know what she was thinking. She also just like, it was very funny. She just started, I don't have limited counter space. She just started like moving things around in ways that kind of look good, but when you try and use any of the stuff the kid doesn't make any sense anymore. Paper towel is way too close to the sink now. I don't know. And it was, I was already, we went out to lunch and that was nice, but she said she also wanted to see the apartment, which I understand and I want her to. And, she was proud. She said, I built a nice place that she's fucking helping pay for. I'm not an adult. But it was nice for her to see the place, but it's also weird when somebody's like, I want to come see your place, and that person isn't like your girlfriend, because all of a sudden you're in a studio apartment, so you're just in a room, so you just walk in and they see everything immediately. They see the entire apartment within seconds. The only thing they can do is like peer into the kitchen, which the only part of the kitchen they haven't seen is the 20% that are the corners behind the half wall. And then they can stare in the bathroom and tell me they like the tile, because that's the only thing special about the bathroom. Everything else is white besides a couple orange tiles, But it's odd. Somebody comes in and they stayed for, half an hour. And I don't have a TV. I don't have things on the wall. I just have a bed and, a dining table and a desk. And it's a place made for one person. And it's very funny when you have really anyone else besides your girlfriend over. Because your girlfriend, it's like, hey, let's, lay down on the bed. I don't have a couch. You know what I mean? Let's chill here. We can watch a movie on my computer. You know what I mean? You're walking into a hut made for one person, I understand why you want to see it, but definitely don't touch any cloths, because one of them has cum on it, And that's what she did out of love, to fold my towels, and that was, nice of her to do. But I also think as a mom, you got to get to a point where you stare at towels that belong to your son and you go, you know what? Whatever he's doing with those towels is fine with me. And I'm going to let him figure out what those towels do, what their purpose is, and how they should be situated, how they should be folded, what should be done with those towels. He's 24. I'm going to let him figure out how those towels work. I bet he has a towel routine that I am not aware of, that I support him in. But definitely don't come in and start treating every cloth like a petting zoo, because, listen, I'm a man child at this point in my life, not a, most adults don't see me as an adult, but most kids don't see me as a kid. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's that weird middle place. And that's the time when you have to let your little bird fly with his cum rags and work things out for himself. You know what I mean? There's, been babied my whole life, and watching her fold those towels, I was like, this is bad. I don't know if you should care less, but I think you should care in a different way that doesn't involve touching towels that belong to me anymore. You've been a great mom. You've worked so hard your whole life to make a good life for me. You deserve to never touch one of my towels again, because I either dried off my fucking dick and balls with it after a shower, or I fucking wiped cum off of me, So just don't touch them. Leave them be. Those towels are part of my journey. They are, I don't know. But that was fun. I mean, I don't know. It's so funny being around my mom and my aunt, and any mom or aunt, because just the line of questioning that occurs with any any woman over the age of 50, the line of questioning is specific and also at times thoughtless. Like I'm flying out to Boston to hang out at my stepdad's beach cottage. Thank you for that, stepdad. Thanks for having a beach cottage. Makes the divorce a lot simpler on me. I'm flying out there, and my mom got me the tickets. Can you believe it? And I haven't really looked at the specifics of them yet because I'm not leaving for a little while. And looking at these, got these tickets, and my aunt's like, "Hey, when are you flying out?" And I go, "I have no idea." And then she goes, "Is it a red eye?" I have no idea. I just said it twice. I have no idea. And it's only I don't know, it's interesting because it's such a simple line of questioning, but so sometimes thoughtless and convoluted. And, there's care and love behind it, I think, but it's so weird just the kinds of questions a mom or an aunt can come up with that you can, they can start with a first question, which really means that there shouldn't be any follow-up questions related to that first question if the answer's no. Do you know what time your flight is? No. That's over. She just asked I don't know, it was so funny because it was like, "Do you know what time your flight is?" No. Okay, let me ask it more specifically. Which maybe that makes, maybe she thought that would enlighten something to me. But when I say I have no idea, it means I don't know if I'm flying out at midnight or noon. I don't know. I have no idea, okay? I focus on a few things, and none of them are important. It's, do we have cigarettes? Is the podcast out? What am I going to eat today? What am I going to cook? Do I have Parmesan cheese? If you ask me any of those questions, if you ask me, did you record your podcast? Do you have Parmesan cheese? Do you have cigarettes? I can give you 100% answer every time. I will knock it out of the park. If you want to know any of those three things, I can guarantee an answer. No problem. Easy. Not even a question. If you ask me what time a flight that I'm taking in a week is, you might as well be asking me how many people have died on Mount Everest. I don't know. I could look it up quickly. I haven't had a reason to yet, but that time will come where I'll wonder, or I'll need to know, and I'll work that out, okay? When I am ready to take my flight to climb Mount Everest, I'll make sure I know the flight time and I know how many people have died. But until then, I don't know. Parmesan cheese, cigarettes, and getting this podcast out are daily concerns of mine. The amount of times I have thought about Parmesan cheese in the last week is, I would say, at least 4 times a day. Because it's opening up my fridge and going, well, pasta, but no pasta with cheese. And I think about, it haunts me. And I go, God, do I need to go to the market? I feel like I have everything else. I just don't have cheese. Can I make it work? And I make it work. I get through. I'm a survivor. You know what I mean? You're listening to a guy that's absolutely unstoppable by the trials of life. But don't fucking ask me when anything in my life is going to happen, because I don't know. Ants, they love to know when stuff in your life is going to happen. And I go, I'm not going to know that until about 30 hours before I need to. And I'm going to look up the time of the flight, and I'm going to, for some reason, not look at it for that long, and then close the app on my phone, and then ask myself if I know the flight time, and realize I just sort of mechanically looked at it and didn't really think about anything that I was looking at, okay? That's what's going to happen, all right? I'll work that out for myself when the time comes, when need be, okay? I don't plan well at all. Things happen, I don't know how I get anywhere, you know what I mean? I always, I'll book shows out of town. I'm going to San Diego this weekend to do some shows. I booked those a month ago, and that just exists as, this I don't know, like vacuous cloud of space dust in my head of like, wow, where am I gonna stay? And I think that thought way too late, and I go, what's gonna happen when I'm there? What's going on? You know what I mean? I don't know how I get anywhere, and that scares me as a person that wants to be a successful touring comedian is the amount of flights and the amount of places I'm gonna have to be in quick succession, and how every time I fly anywhere, I don't know how I did it. You know what I mean? Like I think it's part of life is realizing that flying or moving or so many things, you never feel set. You never feel in control. Even these comics that, fly every day, they have flying down, they know how to do it. But even then they're so busy, so it's like, they're not asking the flight time until the night before because they had a flight last night and the night, and it's just over and over and over again. You're just moving through space as fast as you can. You don't know how you're showing up places. I'm hoping that the only thing that could carry me through being a touring comic with a chaotic lifestyle is the fact that I'm never very good at understanding what I'm doing or where I am to begin with. So if I'm on the road all the time, I don't know where I am. My sleep schedule's fucked up in a way that almost makes sense to me. You know what I mean? That's something that's I can handle. I don't know. I've been out of town a little more recently, and it's I don't know. I haven't been out of town in a way that I necessarily like. You know what I mean? I haven't. It'd be nice to have a tour of some kind or to be touring with some comic where it's like you're going to be out of town for 3 months and that's almost in its instability is a stability where it's like you're just out there, you're just on flights every day, you're on a bus every day, whatever. That makes sense. I'm doing a lot of like, spend a weekend here or, when I first moved in here, I talked about that. I went to Palm Springs one day, the next day Merced, and it's like it just feels like you're just like you have a table that's mucky and you have to, just make a part of it clean, and that's your drive to Merced. It's like just I don't know fucking how we're going to get there, but then and now okay, we're here. So that part is done. And there's just, all the remaining muck is places you have to go and things you have to work out. And I think I just try and not think about it. And I think that's a difference between, a 24-year-old guy and a mother or an aunt. That if you ask them when they're flying out, they know. They will tell you their opinion on the time they're flying out. They will tell you past times they flew out at that time, their experience with that time. What they're going to wear according to the time and what they're going to do on the flight. I don't know what I'm going to do on my flight to Boston. It's at 2, I think. I think I figured that out through a conversation with people not even on the flight. I think it's 2, What do you do on a 2 p.m. flight? I'll bring the book. I'll bring the book on Ulysses S. Grant. Am I going to read it? I don't know. But it'll be with me. What am I going to wear? I don't know. I wore form-fitting jeans on a flight the last time I flew. And after sitting down for 10 minutes, I was like, I didn't know I was making a mistake. I had a feeling. I might have to unbutton these boys and get a little room for the tummy on the seat. But I didn't know. I didn't know what I was doing. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It is funny because I have such a easy life. Just the basic fact of living in America as a white dude that's pretty solid from the beginning. So then when it comes to any little thing of like I got to fly and stuff, I'm like I'm just not gonna think about it, and I bet it'll work out, and it does, and it works out for me all the time. And it to me makes total sense why like young white privileged dudes like me are some of the most bitchy people and whiny people in the world. Is most of your life everything just kind of works out for itself, but then all of a sudden your brain is like I'm sad, and you're like, well, we'll just see how that works out, and then like 7 years later it's like I'm still really sad, and you're like, fuck, this is the first time this hasn't been fixed for me. What the fuck do I do? you know. Meanwhile, everyone else, they're like, I'm sad. And then the next thought is like, well, I got to go to work. You know what I mean? And then you work it out and it's fine. But there's a real hilarious aimlessness that is put on people of privilege, rightly so, because you're given such an easy life that answers all of a sudden become hard to find because you don't have enough to care about. You know what I mean? I was talking to my girlfriend. She was like, yeah, my son's out of town. I just feel so aimless. It's like I have the whole day to myself. I'm not sure what to do. And I was like, now you feel like a 24-year-old boy with an easy life. You wake up, you have all the opportunity in the world. You could spend the whole day pursuing your career, your dreams, your relaxation, your mental health, and sometimes that happens. A lot of times you spend the whole day thinking about how you have to do those things and you don't. You know what I mean? There's an easy life is hilariously hard to exist in when it comes to moments of, fuck, I gotta do stuff. You know what I mean? Because then you realize you're wholly unequipped to do anything other than nothing. You know what I mean? And, I don't know. I don't really think I'll have kids in my life. It's not that I am opposed to the idea. I think I, in a certain world, I'd like to have kids, but in a world that, seems to be ending in a real way, uh, and where I also want to have a life of being on the road and not around, it seems like having a kid is not a really cool thing to do. You know what I mean? But I do respect all the people in the world that just have the kid. I think they're correct. There's a girl I went to high school with. She was a year younger than me, so she's got to be 22, 23 now. She's got 2 kids. Out of high school, she got a boyfriend. They got pregnant, definitely by accident. They kept it. And I was looking on Instagram. I was like, holy fuck, this seems like a bad idea. But in their mind, it's like, they don't do abortion. So it's like fucking, it's a simple answer. It's like, I'm going to have the kid. And then the simple answer after that is like, well, let's be happy about it because this fucking tsunami's coming for us at the beginning of our lives anyway. So they're having baby showers and then I guess, didn't really start using condoms or go on birth control. So now they're just fucking having another. And now you're 22 and you got 2 kids. And, to me, I'm like, fuck, how are you going to build a career? You're going to have to work your whole life just to fucking support these kids. And that's a really hard thing to do. But, on the same token, of 2 kids, it's a simple life in the way of, well, what do I have to do? I got to wake up early. I got to feed these boys. I got to play some games with them. They're it's before school, so we got to do some stuff with them. Then school starts. I got to wake up. I got to get them food. I got to get them to school. You know what I mean? It's a hard thing to do. It's harder than anything I've ever done in my life. But the premise is at least simple. It's not easy to do. There's tons of mystery in child rearing. I think there's probably 15 moments a day as a parent where you go, what the fuck do I do? But then you remember, well, fuck, I'm the parent. I'm one of the people in the world now that is supposed to have all the answers. And so even if you don't, you do, because there's a wall behind you that you're backed up into, and that is just pressing into your shoulder blades at all times, and it hurts, but you can't fall because it's just right there. That wall of responsibility just keeps you up unless you're cool enough to go, fuck this wall, and then just walk away. And then you're a terrible, you're a person that abandons their children. And maybe even that, is a certain life of purpose of, what do I do with my life? I'm a guy that abandons his children. I just go around and I do whatever the fuck I want. You know what I mean? There's an answer there. But when you're a 24-year-old guy pursuing a dream of stand up, and you have a pretty easy life, you have familial financial help. You're not rolling in it. You're not given large sums of money, but you also know that the chance of you going homeless is kind of slim to none unless you burn every bridge possible. There's really there's no wall of responsibility behind you. There's a net of support that you can't fall, but there's no like, I gotta do this. You know what I mean? I have a lot of I gotta do this, but the I gotta do this is like, I gotta record this podcast. I gotta buy Parmesan cheese. I gotta buy cigarettes. I gotta write stand up that nobody gives a fuck about. You know what I mean? It's very funny the difference of lives that are being lived. Where, like this girl is 22, she's got 2 kids, she knows what to do, and what she has to do is important. She has to bring up, I think 2 boys in the world and make them good men, so they can contribute and they can be good people and they can have nice careers and they can not have to spend their lives, caring for children every day. You know what I mean? They can do other stuff and then care for children, and then meanwhile, all the stuff that I have to do is stuff that at the moment only at most 20 people a week listen to. You know what I mean? It's you guys. You're my children. You're the thing I have to be beholden to. So it's, I'm not complaining in any way. I have the best life possible. But it is funny when it's like, man, why do these privileged fucking white dudes feel so aimless and directionless? It's like, because the only thing I'm beholden to is a small group of 20 people, half of which are my friends. Nobody's watching the full podcast. And nobody really cares. And that's what I contribute to the world. And I would be ridiculous to not realize that and to not feel useless and aimless. You know what I mean? So the one thing is you just don't complain about it, but then you get your own podcast and you got to fill an hour of time just riffing and boom, you get 10 more minutes in. You know what I mean? It's also the funny thing when people are, sometimes people comment. I've ranted about this, but people comment like, that joke sucked and stuff. And I'm like, oh, buddy, this isn't a joke. This is me committing myself to talking an hour a week and continuously really having nothing to say. That's what this is, okay? If you're talking to, if you want a podcast with direction, you got to go listen to a guy twice my age with a wife, kids, and a house. He's got stuff to talk about, okay? Everything in his life is pressing, And that's a good thing to realize. That's when you forgive your father, you know what I mean? I look at the dark times of my family, the times my father was relapsing while living in an apartment with my brother on heroin, no direct sunlight. And, when you're young, you hate him for not taking care of yourself. And then you get older and you go, hey, man, if you're a guy that lost his wife, that felt like he was losing his son, that was worried about the younger son, me, yeah, you're going to go to a liquor store, pick up a fifth of Jaeger and chug it as fast as you can because apparently that is the closest thing to heroin that's not heroin. Things start to make a lot more sense when you put it in that context. You know what I mean? If your dad did something like that, forgive him because you would have done the exact same thing. I mean, I don't know. Growing up with being around, I wouldn't say growing up. We had a good run of sobriety in my household, but being around addicts at a young age gives you a much less definite definition of who they are. There's some people that do a lot of amazing outreach and they're like, addicts are, people too. And then there's people that hate addicts and they're like, addicts are monsters. And you're like, no. They're people who are monsters. It's both. It's actually very annoying because they have feelings still. And that's why they're doing all those drugs. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I'm happy for everything that's ever happened in my entire life. I'm happy for watching the destruction of my family that was facilitated by drugs and alcohol. I'm happy to have seen all that because, you talk to some people whose parents are still together and they get married young and they believe in themselves and love and the future and the stability of the life that they're living, and it all just seems like it's going to work out. And in a lot of ways, I will envy them. And in a lot of ways, I go, there could be some harsh realizations. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of people with parents that are still together, with loving families, they're really able to step into lifelong commitments and believe that they will work out because they've seen it work out. What I have seen is the fact that you can have a family and you can get a good 25-year run with your wife, and then within 2 years, a nuclear bomb will explode within your family, and everything is gone, and you are left to pick up the pieces of not your family now, but your own life, and how do you make that work? And, you take those things a little more seriously, but you also take everything with a grain of salt. It's a weird back and forth, relationships. Can I spend my life with this person? All of that stuff matters, choosing to be with my girlfriend was definitely a choice of wanting to spend the rest of my life with this person, even though I'm young, you have to make that is this the person? And that's how it feels, you know what I mean? But I also know that any day of the week, if I'm not taking care of myself, she comes by and goes, all this is done, all this is over. And the only thing that I can do is sit there and be grateful for the fact that I don't have to go through a divorce or help raise a kid on half an income now. You know what I mean? That's all I could do is just be thankful and go, well, at least I just have to make myself feel better. I don't have to figure out how to get an apartment for 2 boys, one depressed, one on heroin and depressed, It's a lot easier job for me. You know what I mean? I don't know. There's always something really funny about suburban tragedy. How there's, you have like a suburban row of houses and everybody looks like a family. Everybody has a dad and a mom that leave in the morning and go to work and come back and eat dinner together. But, nobody knows that the dad is sneaking nips. The mom is addicted to whippets. You know what I mean? And then one day everybody finds out when there's a for sale sign and they're fucking fighting in the yard. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's like it's this really just up in the air tragedy. It's this mind deterioration that happens. It's not like a third world country of like a fucking tsunami ripped through our hut and then a bunch of tigers came and ate the kids. You know what I mean? That, that's a kind of aimlessness. That's a kind of death of spirit and life that I could not even imagine. But when it comes to this weird first world thing of like, well, this entire dream that was sold to me just imploded due to the opioid crisis that was sold by the same people that sold the dream. And I'm actually not going to be homeless, but I do have to deal with this severe depression that's been put upon me now. It's hilarious, really. I look back at the death of my family. I think it's very funny how it ended in such like a fickle manner. You know what I mean? How it ended just because of people using drugs and shit to make life a little more sustainable. And that ended the greatest bond that anyone can have, which is as a family, and all it took was just I'll take a fucking sip, and that's all it took. That's funny. That's very funny. I disdain people who only think it's tragic, It's a funny thing, the way that we all believe everything is just going to work out. It's a funny thing, the amount of Christmas story lives that people live. I don't think they're stupid. I think they're right. I think a Christmas story is real, I think those feelings, the fact that everybody around you loves you is real. But what makes it so funny is everybody around you loves you and you won't stop taking Oxycontin. You know what I mean? All you have to do is stop and you won't. And it's this dual thing of all this love around you. And you just fucking blow it because getting high is fucking awesome. And it's always the stupidest and simplest answers that end the most important things in life. Why would you do that? Why didn't you pick up the kids from school? Why did this happen? It says Afro Man, because I got high. That's it. That's all it is. It's stupid, And in America or any first world countries, families, they don't end for anything important. They end for people not being able to overcome themselves. They end because some guy goes and fucks his secretary for no goddamn reason. You know, they end because some guy, loves ketamine so much. And that's why none of these are sympathetic issues, because you had a good life and you wanted more for no fucking reason. You know what I mean? And that's, it's the one thing I'll try and learn, and I try and learn that every day, Sometimes my girlfriend is like, don't you want to just be out there fucking people? And it's like, no, because the reason that we were able to build buildings and society and shit is that we stopped for a second and go, I don't want to spend my whole life just trying to eat and fuck and shit. I want to do something that exists in my head and make that real, So it pisses me off about polyamorous people. They always have the same argument. They go, it's only been around for 1,000 years. And you go, yeah, do you know what else has been around for 1,000 years? Everything that you live with and like and love. Okay? Just houses with air conditioning, the moon landing, being able to take a plane, living in a skyscraper, having a car. That's all the last 1,000 years. And it's because we stopped just all fucking each other. Because when we do that, we get mad and we get jealous and these stupid emotions get in the way. Okay? All of that happened because we stopped being fucking animals. And I'm so sick of all these people that are like, we're just animals, really. And it's like, yeah, but we're the smart ones. We're the ones that surpass animalistic values, okay? Do you know the reason other fucking animal societies can be polyamorous is because they don't have all the shit in us. That's the jealousy, that's the hard thinking, that's this emotional up in the air stuff. They can do it because they don't have it, okay? There's a certain type of monkey that we're related to them. It's the bonobo monkey. There's a comedian that has a joke about this. It's very funny, but I'm just telling you the facts of it. I'm not stealing a joke right now. The bonobo monkey, we're very related to them, and the reason humans moan during sex is because the bonobo monkey moans during sex, and the reason the bonobo monkey screams and moans during sex is that when the female is fucked, she screams to let the other men know to line up and to fuck her after the monkey who's fucking her now is done. And all these monkeys line up, and they just blow loads into her, and the reason she screams is to get this line going, and the reason they all do it, and they all fuck the same girl so they can blow as many loads in her to get the highest chance of keeping the species going, to make sure that she gets pregnant, okay? And a lot of couples struggle with getting pregnant, and it would be a lot easier for couples to get pregnant if the lady screamed and had 30 other guys blow a load in her. There's a good chance she'd get pregnant. But we don't do that because that lady's husband is going to get a little insecure and wonder whose baby it is, and not really like the fact that 30 guys just blew a load in her, okay? So yeah, we are animals, but we build the buildings. We make the cars. We destroy the earth, okay? That's what we do. Whatever, Nietzsche said God is dead. It seems today in our society that Nietzsche's dead. It seems today that the idea of an Uberman surpassing yourself, thinking of what you want, trying to make it real, and resisting stupid urges to get high and fuck and all this shit. Resisting all of that is what builds the buildings. And I just think it's so funny that humans are so smart that we can rationalize being so stupid, I have a friend that's fucking having a kid and he's still polyamorous. Just let it go. It's done. It's over. Do you want to introduce your child to mommy and daddy's girlfriend? You know what I mean? Fucking, another friend, they were a married couple. They brought in some younger girl to be a third in their relationship. Guess what? That lasted 2 months. Can you believe it? Can you believe that didn't work out? All these polyamorous people, it's just like, Oh, what? Do you not get jealous, or do you really just not respect your partner enough to give a fuck that she's getting plowed? You know what I mean? I don't know how that works. It's not a world I want to live in, and I don't think it's an evolved world to live in at all. I actually think it's a baseless, chaotic world that's stupid. You know, these polyamorous people, they're like, oh, I don't get mad. You know, my girlfriend brings guys over and I hear them fuck in the room. Is that smart? Is that the life? Whatever happened to fucking a guy discovering relativity being smart? You know what I mean? Now the smartest guy to a lot of fucking people living on the east side of LA is the guy that fucking just goes out and fucks some lady while his wife is fucking another guy. Now that's smart. Now that's a thinker. What the fuck? I don't know. Doesn't make any fucking sense to me, man. Resist urges. Be honest with yourself. If you fucking okay, you know, if you hate your wife, then yeah, leave her. That's an urge that's, you know, worth thinking about, because then you're wasting, you know, a beautiful woman's life by being in a marriage where you fucking hate her. Yeah, get out of that one. That makes sense. But if you like your wife, but you also want to fuck other people, I don't know, maybe go to couples counseling. Also, to all the polyamorous people in the world that talk about fucking other people, you ever tried role play? You ever tried that out, you fucking idiots? Oh, I want to fuck other people. You could fuck the Queen of England tonight. Just ask your girlfriend to put on a crown, and you're there. Why do you have to go to a bar and just fuck some sweaty slob with fucking gross-ass armpits? Is that a full realization of self? Okay? No. Put on a little costume, do a new voice, make up a new name. The brain is dumb. You can trick yourself, okay? Just fucking, all these people, all these polyamorous people just sound like people with no fucking communication in their relationship. Hey, I want to fuck a lady with blonde hair. Great, let's go buy a wig. You don't need to go fuck. You're not going to feel better if it's a fucking different person. This is your sex partner, your buddy. It's the woman you love. Trust her enough to put on the wig. Call herself a different name. You know what I mean? Just don't be a fucking asshole and choose a name from a lady at work like a freak. That's rude. Make up a new name. You know? Tracy. You don't know what Tracy. Fuck Tracy. It's a new person. Whole new life. Your brain, is it still your girlfriend? Who knows? The only thing we know is that we're not fucking bringing random-ass losers into our relationship for no goddamn reason. If anything, polyamorous people, you are very uncreative. You are not good writers, okay? You can fuck Neil Armstrong on the moon tomorrow. Just get a white jumpsuit and a motorcycle helmet, and you're fucking there, man. You can't fucking extend the dream, the fantasy, to something else for a second? My God. The work it takes to go out and fuck somebody new when all you could do is be honest with the person you apparently you're supposed to love the most in the world. Could you be honest for a second? This myth of polyamory being honesty is I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I think you setting up a polyamorous relationship with your partner is a way to not fucking say the shit that you really want to say, which is, I'm fucking bored of you, okay? You know what your wife would appreciate more is if you went to her and you go, you know what? Our sex life bores the fuck out of me. Let's go to a sex shop and get the grossest shit in the world. And she'll go, great, thanks for being honest. Say it nicer, but you know what I mean. Great, fun. This is so fun for us. Now we're friends again. Been married for 13 years, thought we hated each other. All we had to do was go buy a fucking vibrator that you can fucking jackhammer my pussy with and watch me come harder than you've ever made me come, but still feel like you did it. Tell her, you fucking freak. It's a much dumber, simpler conversation to go, I want to go fuck other people, and then the other person goes, okay, I don't want to lose you. Fuck off, okay? God damn it. Go get some suits and whiskey and have Peaky Blinders sex, you fucking losers. Jesus Christ. I don't know what is happening in society where everybody wants to be a caveman again. Everybody's fucking eating raw meat, fucking multiple partners, that didn't get us to the moon, okay? Show me the list of polyamorous people that have done great things. Who? Genghis Khan? Rapiamory, whatever you'd call what he did? Who are the great polyamorous in the world that have changed the world in a positive way? I don't know. Okay? I have no idea who those people are, and I don't think I ever will, because I think they're spending a bunch of time in a geodesic dome in Laurel Canyon fucking sweating under tapestries, putting their fucking half-hard dicks into some lady named Diane while their wife watches and gets kind of sad. Do you know the amount of times that some fucking partner in a relationship has looked over at their partner getting plowed at a sex party and probably thought, maybe we could have talked this one out. Maybe we could have found another way to do this. Maybe all it took was putting on the old heels, going out to dinner, having this fucking fat slob wine and dine me and make me feel young again. Maybe that's all we needed to do. Maybe we didn't need to go on FetLife and post pictures of our hairy pussies and dicks and ask somebody to fuck us. Maybe that didn't need to happen, okay? And, my apologies to the 2 polyamorous people that it actually works for, but the thousands of others of you in the one fucking sided relationships that you're having, go fuck yourself, okay? I read a book. Okay, all right, well, some people read books and become Nazis, so maybe fucking everything you read in a book isn't the way things should be, okay? That's my favorite thing. Is a big thing now is where people pick one thing in their life and they do it completely differently than everybody else, and they think that everybody else should be doing it, okay? It's polyamorous. It's these fucking raw meat eaters. It's these people drinking piss. It's these people who only drink water with hydrogen in it. The world has moved at a rapid pace and has been expanding with all these great thoughts and minds. And if you fucking ask Richard Feynman or Albert Einstein or Carl Sagan or fucking Bill Nye, throw him in there too. If you ask them what really got you to achieve the things you got to achieve, they're not going to tell you that it was fucking drinking raw piss with a fucking uncooked ribeye right next to you, okay? That's not the fucking answer. You know what it was? It was fucking getting up in the morning, resisting the urge to jack off, having a cup of coffee, having a routine, doing something, doing shit that a monkey doesn't do. The answers have been here the whole time. Whatever fucking water you're drinking is fine. Go to the fucking tap. Yeah, there's heavy metals in it. Go fuck yourself. Put a Brita in. Just drink the water. You don't need to piss into a cup to figure shit out, okay? There was a time where the judgment and, the judgment on things really helped people. Where being called a fucking idiot really helped people, okay? There's a time where if you told your friend you were drinking piss, he'd be like, all right, man, what's wrong? Can we talk about this? Now you tell your friend you're drinking piss, and he's like, good for you, man. It's always good to, it's good to fucking do something. You know what I mean? We're moving farther and farther away from everything we've learned. Because it's this big thing now, and it's not just anti-vax people. I'm not even just talking about that. I'm just talking about people in general that are like, doctors don't know everything. Whatever happened to just believing that the guy that went to medical school for 12 years probably knows what he's talking about, and you worrying about what the fuck you're talking about? I've never heard a doctor in my life tell me to fucking eat raw meat and drink my piss. That's never been something he's mentioned, okay? And it's so funny because all that stuff is, what all that stuff is to me? It's like those little bottles of like engine cleaner that you can buy at or like gas performance enhancer that you can buy at like a gas station or an auto shop. Those little like yellow bottles, you put it in and it says it makes your engine run better. And if you have a really shitty car, maybe you notice a difference. That's all that is. The car's going to run the same way it's run the whole time. Just make sure you get oil changes. But fucking drinking that cup of piss is just putting in this random liquid that you don't know what it does and thinking it's going to solve every fucking problem. It is not, okay? It's not going to solve your fucking problems, okay? If anything, you should be stopping consuming some shit other than consuming new shit, okay? If you fucking drink 4 drinks a night, what's going to change your life is not a cup of piss in the morning. It's fucking laying off the sauce and having some restraint for once in your life. But walking around, having multiple partners, eating raw meat, drinking piss, and doing whatever you want is not going to make you an evolved human. It's going to fucking give you a headache, okay? You're not going to do shit with your life. You ever met a polyamorous person with a job that you understand? No. Not in your fucking life, have you? Not in anyone's life, have they? I don't know. People just, people are, I think, just feeling really aimless and lost. And when you look at the government that we have in America, when you look at the future of it, when you look at no Social Security, water running out in LA, you don't know what to do. And it makes sense. You drink piss, you try and find good and evil, There's been a lot of orcas that are fucking up boats in Europe. Everybody on Twitter is on the side of the orcas because they assume that anybody with a boat is a piece of shit. My brother works on fishing boats. When he built up his career the most, what he's going to do is try and buy a boat. And it's not, it's not disgusting, ruin the environment fishing. It's just fishing, okay? But if he gets killed by an orca in his dream boat that he's worked his whole life for, a bunch of people on Twitter are going to say he deserves it. My uncle owns a boat. He invented a life-saving medicine used in every hospital you've ever been to that he should have won a fucking Nobel Prize for. If he goes out on his boat and an orca fucking bites his dick off, did he deserve it? No. You don't fucking hate these rich people, okay? You don't really hate them. Telling a guy that somebody went online and they said, fuck all these people. Boats are killing the ocean. What's killing the ocean is not fucking boats. It's oil rigs. It is humongous fishing boats that take swaths of fish out of areas and ruin an ecosystem. The companies are fucking ruining it. And those aren't the boats the orcas are fucking up. The orcas are fucking up boats with 4 guys all named Glenn drinking Miller Lite trying to catch a fucking rockfish before they go back to their lives they hate. Are they ruining the fucking earth? Yeah? And how often do you fucking think about that? Never. Until you hear this fun news story that orcas are fucking up boats, okay? It's fucking crazy. It's ridiculous. It's like I don't have sympathy for rich people. There's tons of rich people I hate. But it's a weird belief that like the only way to make money is to be completely evil. Kobe died in a helicopter crash. Did he fucking deserve to die because he was rich enough to have a helicopter? No, he got it from fucking playing basketball, okay? Yeah, everybody's got a bit of a Ted Kaczynski. Nobody would really mind if the CEO of ExxonMobil got shot in the head. But there's fucking millions of other rich people that got it fucking tiling houses. You know what I mean? Does the guy that did your roof, does he deserve to get eaten by an orca? Is that a good thing? It makes no fucking sense. It's also just funny because everybody on Twitter fucking, hates rich people, but then is also like, when you're starting out your business, you got to ask for the price you deserve, and then they charge exorbitant amount of prices so they can build up a rich life and have everything they want and become rich. It's fucking childish, guys. It's like fucking people's boats they've worked their whole life for again and eaten up. And no, I don't care about them that much, but also you hear about that happening and you're like, oh, that sucks for that guy. He's still got a good life. He'll be fine. He has everything he needs. The boat was an extra, It's a little annoying to get those rudders fixed, don't you think? And I don't think it's worth it. I don't think the orcas doing that is something that is needed and that the rich people should pay the price for a good thing happening. I don't think it's a good thing. I think it just kind of sucks for everybody. Obviously, the orcas are pissed. We got to have some agreement with them. I don't know what we got to do, but we got to start fucking chumming the waters for them, start giving them gifts or something. They're smart. They know what a gift is. They'll realize if we're trying to help them out, but right now they're pissed, So let's work something out. You know what I mean? Let's get it going. Are you guys also big fans of Somali pirates? Is that also something you're a big supporter of? I don't know. I understand it. I get where it comes from, but I also think there's a certain extent where you got to slow down and realize that you don't know every single one of these people on the boats, that they are not all the people ruining the world. The people ruining the world are 500 people whose names you have never heard of. Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, there's no way they're the richest people on earth. There's no fucking way that they are the richest people on earth. There's no way that the richest person on earth only has $100 billion, okay? Are you a fucking child? We're in debt to China for $8 trillion. There's a fucking almost trillionaire out there who's made his money controlling the world and has known, like a smart person, to not let people know who the fuck he is, okay? You know how stupid you have to be publicly the richest person in the world? Fucking Elon and Jeff are just fucking pawns, if anything. They're just fucking people they throw in the limelight to get some of the heat off of them. You know what I mean? All the people controlling all of our political parties, all the corporation owners that are essentially the chairman of the Republican and Democratic parties, Fucking the president of ExxonMobil is the president of America. You know what I mean? Do you know his name? No. You're supposed to tell me he's not richer than Jeff Bezos? Explain that to me, okay? We don't know who the real people are. That's the fucking game, you idiot. Anything you see in the news is fucking a little bit of placation. It's a little bit of, hey, look at this rich guy getting fucked up. Doesn't that make you feel better? Meanwhile, some guy named, Ponzi Schemes is fucking rolling in fucking Scrooge McDuck money this whole time in a mansion in a location you've never even heard of. Fucking wherever his house is, they don't let it on Google Maps, okay? There's an island in the Pacific that is not on Google Maps, and that's where he lives, okay? And he makes a call, and a school shooting happens, or whatever the fuck, and nobody knows who the fuck he is. So stop thinking you have it figured out, okay? Realize how fucking stupid you are, and just accept it, and just let go. Yeah, I hate Elon Musk. He's one of the newest grifters. He's a fucking P.T. Barnum character, okay? He hasn't made his money off of being a fucking scientist. He's made his money off of being a salesman and selling you science that he didn't even create. That's a figurehead, dumbass. It's the same thing as getting mad at the president. You think the president fucking knows what's going on? I heard on a completely unsubstantiated podcast that Obama is probably a complete lie, but, let's go with it. Fill some time before the end of the show. Apparently, Obama was talking to a guy, and he said, as the president, I really only know half of all the secrets. There's a whole other side of this book. Let's say it's all a big book. It's 1,000 pages. The president only gets to read 500. The other 500 are the people telling the president what the fuck they're going to do. You're a goddamn idiot if you don't think the minute the president walks into the Oval Office, there's 3 men he's never seen, and they go, here's what you're going to do for the next 4 years. And if you don't, Kennedy, bang, pick up the brains, Jackie. I'm not saying don't be mad at these figureheads. They're all part of the system. They're the pawns too, They're lucky pawns. They get all the money still. They get to fucking have the yachts. But to act like fucking a guy as dumb as Elon Musk is really controlling as much of the world as we think he is, you're out of your fucking mind. He's a retard. It's fucking Ponzi scheme in a suit that used to belong to fucking King Tut. You know what I mean? Go look in those guys' houses. It's fucking more stolen shit than the British Museum. These guys we've never heard of. Richest man in the world. Shut the fuck up. There is no fucking way we know who the richest man in the world is. And there is no fucking way that any rich person that them dying would really help the world is ever going to be assassinated, is ever going to be killed by an orca. Okay? They don't die. They get frozen, buried under the ground. And when the apocalypse that they know when it's going to happen, they'll be thought out right at that time. And they'll come out and they'll build a new world that is one big McDonald's. And you'll be dead. Or if you're still alive, you're going to work at that McDonald's. You're going to go, it's just good to have a job in the wasteland. You look out of that window at a McDonald's at now an endless desert. And you go, it's just good to put 8 hours in for old Ponzi schemes. What's funny is Ponzi schemes are named after a guy whose last name was Ponzi, and he just kept stealing money from people, which is sick. It's funny back then you hear those stories about a guy who gets nowadays money like $10 million from investors and then literally just moves one state away and they can never find him. And you're like, damn, people are so dumb back then. And it's like, people are just as dumb now. You just don't even have to move. You know what I mean? You just don't even have to move. You just have to go on Twitter. Well, you buy Twitter and you get a bunch of fucking idiots to start fights for you. And all of a sudden, nobody knows who to align themselves against. And boom, the big fight's going on. You know what I mean? Any rich person in their right mind would say, yeah, let Elon and Jeff be the richest. They'll take the heat. They'll take the heat. Do it, please. Come on. Kidding me? Are you guys fucking kidding me? I'm not saying don't be mad at the rich people you know. I'm just saying don't act like you fucking get it. Not even the president knows everything that's going on. I don't know who the people are that know what's going on, but somehow they get into politics without being it. You know what I mean? It's like the actual Roger Stones that you don't know. Anyway, I think it was a little more fun at the beginning of the podcast, but hopefully that fun kept you through the dark ranting parts, and that was still entertaining. And if it wasn't, I'm very sorry, but thank you for tuning in to the 405 podcast. Everything the 405. I'll see you next week. I love you so much.